Good evening. What's going on, Chef? How you doing? I switched up some of my what's going on, Don? I switched up some of my audio. Am I coming in good? Is it tinny? Any reverb? Any echo or anything? Hopefully no. Just shaking. What's going on, Ice Wolf? Yeah. I am Italian. So I was able to box up everything except for our let me start that over again because I was starting with a lie there. Everything is boxed up and enveloped up. Everything has been dropped off with the exception of international orders. I do have to do the international orders in person because I have paperwork to fill out. But everybody who was in the break yesterday has their items should be scanned in Monday morning when they actually get to the post office, since it is closed tomorrow. They were dropped off around 5 o'clock. So we're good to go. Ice Wolf has a package coming that I think he'll enjoy. What's going on, Jedi? How are you doing? Should I? It's up to you. It's up to you, man. It's yours. I would like to announce that I did speak with Dangle earlier today. I heard No Way Home was spectacular. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's actually got an A plus Metacritic score, which is the first time a Marvel movie has had one. So that says a lot. But everything, I won't read any of the reviews, but I'll catch titles as I scroll through, even though I'm trying to avoid them. And everybody said that it was worth the wait, worth the hype. I talked to Dangle today. He reached out to me, and Dangle accepted the bounty. So, as promised, I will retain Detective Comics 833, page 8. And he was given 200% of his buy-in, aka $200. Because I make good on my threat slash promises. I said it was open for anybody who got that piece. I would double their buy-in for it, and he accepted the offer. So that is now in my personal collection. It is not going to be leaving. Pretty stoked about that. The best part about having a mustache as divine as mine is when you drink scotch, it saves just enough. Just enough. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that. I can't complain. Also, Ice Wolf, I know you're here, so I'm gonna embarrass you in person. Knowing I love the red hair, gifted the Poison Ivy by Matt Gaudio that he had won. Ice Wolf has a package coming in the mail. It is something that I don't know if you'll ever expect, but I think you, of anybody, will appreciate it. It may not be as grandiose as your gifts, but I think you'll find it pretty cool. So, I didn't get to touch on this yesterday, so I'm going to touch on it today. Um, how exciting is it that turd sandwich, panty waist turd of a human being, Urban Meyer, no longer with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and as of today will not be paid for his contract because it is being declared just cause for his firing. I said this weeks ago, if you go back to my videos. I said what a human piece of garbage my opinion of him was. And based on knowing people in the Florida area, having acquaintances that played for the Gators when he was there, and the general scuttlebutt from around the league and everything else, he is who we thought he was. And I'm glad that I didn't look like the idiot spouting nonsense and spouting conspiracy theories. Literally, the very next week that I went on my Urban Meyer rant, he was found out to be exactly what I said he was. Brent, I'm good, man. Handsome. God, you're handsome. Right? I'm telling you, who kicks a kicker in the leg? Yeah. Absolutely, Brent. He is who we thought he was. Scoobs! What up, Scoobs? Scoobs, did you watch the video? Did you see what you got, man? I hope you did. Scoobs had to work early in the morning. He wasn't able to join us yesterday. But he did reach out to me also via the chat line and drop the message. So Scoobs made out pretty well. If I recall, one of the ones that he has is a fan favorite. Oh, so listen. I am also here to get some feedback. Oh, the Mr. Freeze is sick. You are right. Now, this is 100% unbiased. This is going to be 100%. I want, you know me, I am honest with all of you. I try to be as transparent as humanly possible with all of you. And I'm going to ask that you are the same way to me. I want to know how you guys felt about the format. Let's not talk about the art. Let's start with the format, because this is also going to be part of a feedback video. You can be as honest as you want. If you do not feel that you want to make public how you feel, just send me a DM. Send me a DM if you don't feel good or bad. Scoob says, I make him throw up when he sees me. That is actually a very common knee-jerk reaction most people have. As a matter of fact, when I was a comedian on stage, my show had the highest rate of suicides following within an hour of my show finishing. So that is, I'm very used to that. But besides the hideousness of my face, let's talk about the format, because the format is different than something that we've done before. I know I did talk to Don. Don prefers when I have time to open a box and can chit chat, and the aesthetic of opening a box is always something that he enjoyed. Being that these were multiple different sizes, that made it a little bit more difficult. It'd be cool to mix the sizes. Yeah, I tried to. So the 4x6s came about honestly out of necessity. At Comic-Con, I don't have they been dropped off yet? Yes, Scoobs. They were dropped off. They're not checked in because it was after the post office closed, but they should be scanned in as early as Monday. Everything but the international orders are done. The international orders are in their respective shipping vestibules, but I have to do those in person. Oh yeah. Yes. Okay, Ice Wolf. I dig that. Yeah, that was just because I had piled them on my desk. Yeah, but I will switch them up next time. Next time, so I'm still waiting on my mesh router. Oh, thanks, Brent. Appreciate it. Hopefully, very different in a good way. So once I get the mesh router extensions into the house, I'll be in my new office, which will be literally not exaggerating 6 times the size of this. Now, Don actually, for those who don't know, Don is a personal friend of mine, Doan. Doan was at my house this morning. He wanted to kind of check out the art that y'all were getting, and have breakfast. Um, so he even said he came into the studio and was like, "This is smaller than it looks on screen." Yeah, the wall, this wall to this wall is less than 6 feet. It's, I think, 4 feet. Because of the depth of the camera and the fact that I have it kind of zoomed out, it looks like I have more space than I do. I can put my foot from sitting where I am now, I can lean my head on the foam and touch the wall with my foot. From the door to here is maybe 6.5 feet. So I'm in about a 4 foot by 6.5 foot box. I will be going to, I think, a 12 foot by 12 foot room soon. If, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so because it's so small, I have a chance of methane poisoning. I mean, yeah, well, Vince, you don't live down the street. Don literally lives down the street. So and actually, I had to do a lot of. Good, man. I'm glad you're. Hey, shout out to your daughter. You can feel free to give her name. I'll give her a personal shout out if you don't want to. Hey, that's fine. I understand. Some people don't want to get names involved, but daughter of the chef, shout out. Thanks for watching. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's right. 3 times faster than normal. Well, my next office is going to be the ice box, as I refer it. The ice box is our bedroom that's all the way in the back of the house where the radiator doesn't work, which is fine. I have a space heater. But that's going to give me enough room to actually have stock behind me, to have more behind me for you guys to look at instead of just foam. I posted some pictures of what the new studio, the one of the walls is going to look like on my Instagram page, so you'll be able to see. There'll be things for you to look at. I will have a larger desk. I will have additional tables. I will have more room to break and do everything the way it should be done, which will mean I can lay things out and not have to pile things large on the bottom to small on top because that's how it fit. Oh, well, shout out to your daughter's boyfriend, too. You, sir, daughter's boyfriend, are a braver man than I am. I wouldn't want to mess with Chef. I wouldn't want to mess with him. He must have. No, you know what? It would be inappropriate. So I'm going to stop there. But, Chef, I wouldn't mess with you, man. I jest. I jest. Okay, so format, mixing up. Actually, you know what? Hold on. This is how legit I am. Here. Do. Let me. It's my book. This is where all the info goes. He's a good kid, fits in with the nerd lifestyle. Excellent, man. It's good to hear that, mate, dude. I like to hear that. Quality people, unfortunately, are becoming harder and harder to find these days. I'm going to take notes. Okay, just want to make sure there was nothing I showed you on the back of this. I'm going to take notes. Is that the next run? Oh, that is the next run. The next run is on the back side of this paper. Can't show you. All right, format. I'm taking my notes. because your feedback will be, as it always is, as you guys know, all my regulars know. All your feedback goes directly applied, if possible. If it's not possible, I usually tell you why it's not possible. All right, so I will have a bigger room. It's supposed to be just after Christmas is when I receive the extra. So we have 2 mesh router stations in the house. The house is too big for it to reach one to another. So they had a deal to get 2 more for the price of 1, basically. So I'm going to have 2 extenders. Each of them are self-powered, so there's no loss in bandwidth. It'll stretch the whole house. So by the next break, I believe I'll have it. Hello, Mel. What's going on, Jimmy? We'll have more room, and I'll be able to mix up the sizes. Mix up sizes at presentation for funsies. And I spelled that Funsies. Oh, man, that's awesome of you, helping the wife clean up after supper. You have a good night, man. It's always good to see you. Always good. All right, next question. What did you think of the choice of subject? Batman's Rogue Gallery. Was that fun? Was it too narrow of a scope? Was it too broad of a scope? What did you think of the selection? And not to sound like I'm doing market research, but I'm doing market research. And who better to ask about the market research and the people who are involved? And what better way to show that I'm actually going to apply it than actually have it put on video so people can see it and see that I'm actually taking it very seriously and want to make a better product. Anything Batman is good for, Chef. Dig it. Icewell said, not a big Batman fan, but the selection to him was good. It had stuff that he genuinely liked, giving a stance. There you go. Awesome, good. I'm going to put good. I love the Batman breakout there. Certainly a few more characters that could be used. It's true. It's true. It's true. So I think what we're going to do is we are... different styles of breaks are going to be using different subjects. Like the gallery breaks may focus on one particular subject or set of subjects. Artist spotlights that we talked about the Bing Artist Spotlight. They may have the liberty to do whatever they want, or they may choose to have a certain one that they do on their own. So that is definitely something. All right, now this is the question that if you don't feel comfortable answering, you can DM it to me. I'm okay with that. Oh, you know what, Chef? That's a good point, man. Where's the vehicles? Man, you know what? That's a damn good point. That's a damn good point. Yeah, right? Mel's got it. I'm going to star that one. Not make that mistake next time. Chef, man, you get imaginary internet points. And the butler. Good old Alfred. All right, man. That's amazing feedback, Chef. That is amazing feedback. The wheels of DC Break. Yeah, that's right. All right, so the next part that if you're not comfortable answering, again, just DM me. The artists. What'd you guys think of the selection of artists? Did you like that we were reaching out to new artists that I saw and I liked? Did you want to see more of the established artists? Do you want to see more of the new up and coming artists? Are there particular styles you liked? Give me any feedback you feel comfortable putting on the screen. If not, DM me at DC the Breaker on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, go ahead and you can actually send me private messages on any of the formats, including Scuba wants more of the established. Ice Wolf says, I want more of the crayon ones. That would be Art Baltazar. Yeah, I'm telling you. Art, it was mesmerizing. Watch that man pump out those sketches. I definitely want to do more with Art. Yeah, yep. Great selection of artists. Dig it. The other pop art artist that went with Baltazar, that was Franco. Great selection. Dig it. All right, a 90s artist. Dig it. Okay. Cool. All right, Ice Wolf. Ice Wolf likes the selection of artists. Alrighty, Dighty. Cool. All right. Chef's like can't see anything bad about the art. Awesome. Now, what else do you guys got? What could I change? What was something that I did that wasn't to par? If I could do it again, what would you make me do different? Besides giving you the piece that you wanted. And affordable is key. Affordable is definitely key. We are going to have things at different price points, and we're going to try to have things that are going to be achievable for everybody. That's why we did this break, $99.99. There's another one that's going to be in that price point coming in the near future. Not going to say which one. Oh, thanks, Scuba. You're A plus in my book as well. I'm not ignoring you. I just want to make sure the Patriots are still losing. 17 nothing. Indianapolis. Halftime. And there you go. Don't think there's anything else that I have. No, so most of the stuff since it was sent out, I don't have any of the upcoming lines here. I have two lines that I have pieces of that we don't even actually know if they're going to be part of the lines. I just have extra art laying around. Don will be able to tell you. You walk into my office, it's just art laying around everywhere. Everywhere you turn is just a piece of art, just chilling. It was limited to two per person, but the day of the break, we opened it up to as many as anybody wanted. Now, with that said, only two people, because we only had five left. Oh, thanks, man. Brent says I'm the king of breaking. Hey, listen. I don't know if I want to be the king. I'll be the prince. Princes get to walk around, do whatever they want, and warn people someday they'll be king. So maybe the prince of breaking I'll take. Everyone's gunning for the king. Yeah, it was two per person, and then we had five of the morning of the break. And as typical, at the time of the break, we unlock it. At noon, we lifted the multiple, and within an hour, two people came in, bought two more each, and then we had a brand new buyer come in for the fifth one. So only two people got to go beyond the two. It actually was a very even mix of people buying slots and first-time buyers, and we're reaching new crowds because we are advertising more and we are getting the word out, especially at the Comic-Con. We had somebody from Comic-Con purchase a spot that has never been into a break before. So that's exciting. Rather be the E5 than the E6, right? There you go. Yeah, if we're not sold out instantly, usually the day of the break. Now, this was also a little different, Scoobs. This was a one-time break. There was no boxes. There was no holding things for another day. It was all going to be shown live. It was all going to be done live. So it was going to be a one-time deal. So we had to sell out by break or we couldn't break. Thankfully, we didn't really need to go that far because by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it was already sold out. So in the future, most breaks will be in boxes, so they can be multiple night breaks. If we do the gallery breaks again, those will be one-time breaks as well. You'll see that we're formulating different types of breaks. The title of the break will tell you the format that it's in. For instance, the art gallery break or the gallery break. That is going to be original pieces of art that are just going to be here one time only. Rachel was new. That is correct. Brent, Rachel was brand new. She was a first-time buyer. The reason I asked if she knew or if you knew her is because you and her have the exact same last name. And then I looked at the address and realized you live on opposite sides of the country. So yeah. That she was brand new. I saw the last name because it showed up to me last name first. I was like, oh, gotta know Brent. Well, apparently there's a lot of people with your last name. So, there you go. But yeah, Card Killer, this is the first time Card Killer got in on it. Good to see him jumping in as well. We're thinking about doing something with Card Killer as well. Ice Wolf, you know you're going to be tapped for that one as well, if we do. So we may do something along the lines of card art as well. But we have things in the works, so we'll be pushed back a little bit. Oh, Ice Wolf, if you don't think you've already started scratching the upper echelon of card art creation, you're delusional, man. You've already got people following and watching, and you are on point, man. You are bringing something new that nobody else has done before. And that's the key, man. Your art is original. You're like the Jackson Pollock in the fact that you did something that nobody else had thought to do, and you did it really well right off the bat. So that is pretty dope. You are in my mind and opinion and the opinion of a lot of others, you're right up there as well, dude. What else is there? I don't have much. I'm actually still kind of tired from yesterday. Took a lot out of me. It's been a while since I've done a break. It's been a while. And for those who don't know, you need to follow Ice Wolf. See, Chef just said, what are we missing? So Ice Wolf, our very own Ice Wolf, is also a card artist. And he is embedding rocks and I shouldn't call them rocks. because they're more than rocks. Elaborate rocks and semi-precious stones and in some cases precious stones and agates right now. But he is doing some things, and he's playing with backgrounds, and thinly slicing and polishing and finishing these stones to make them look fantastic. But yeah, it is. If you follow his Instagram right there, Ice Wolf Custom Cards. It's pretty knockout stuff coming out of him right now. So, kudos to you, man. You deserve all the press and coverage that you get. He did. That's what happened, Don. It's what happened, and I feel fortunate to be able to see that in real time. I was blessed with the ability to talk endlessly about nothing in particular. But I was cursed with the complete lack of artistic talent when it comes to taking the things that are in my head and putting them through my hands onto the ground. Um, I struggle to draw stick figures. So I just got a text from Bourbon. Bourbon's like, "Hey, what size is that Kilmer? I'm getting a frame." I bet he is. Excuse me. Yeah, see, here's the fact that I'm usually in bed by 10 o'clock creeping up on me. I wake up at 6 o'clock most mornings to get ready for work. So this is when I wind down. 10 o'clock, I'm in bed. I'm ready to sleep at 10. Yesterday, I was exhausted. Mel made me stay up. I wanted to go to bed right after the break. She's like, no, stay up. Play video games. All right. Oh, you do. It's good stuff. Am I going to miss Paul Rudd hosting SNL? There's a good chance. I love Paul Rudd. I love SNL. It was one of my dreams growing up to be on SNL. I got into improv acting with the hopes of someday going to SNL. Yeah, I will, Don. I will mention it. Um, and then I found out like exactly how much they do. And they're not just actors. All of them have to be able to write. All of them create their own characters, and I'm just not that talented. I can talk. I can. You give me 3 words, I can give you a dissertation on how those 3 words are related. But ask me to write it down, it's not going to happen. Yeah, Brent. After he lost his voice, he became an artist, and after his documentary came out, he added $100 to every single one of his pieces. So we happened to be very fortunate, and we were able to get them right before the price range. But unfortunately, if we try to acquire any more, they're going to be more expensive. I have one personal one of him as Iceman hanging in my house, and I got that like in the very beginning when he first started doing them. I picked one up, and it was. You can go on his website right now. If you go on his website, Val Kilmer's website right now, they're $350 a painting. I got mine for like 200 because he did a 20% off sale. They were 250, and I think I got mine for 200. But now you're paying 350 for one. Yeah, he had them at his cons. He would go to I met him, and actually true story, fun fact, there's pictures of it out there. If you look up people that went to the Tampa Comic Con 2 or 3 years ago, There's a lot of pictures of Val sitting in line talking, and he's actually talking to a big fat guy in a red Deadpool shirt with black shorts on, a hat and glasses, and that big fat guy is actually me. We had about a 5 minute conversation. And like I felt like the paparazzi was there. I was waiting in line to meet Carrie Elwes, who I adore and is one of the only people in the entire planet that ever got me starstruck. And while I'm waiting in line, Val comes out, and I immediately was like, Val, I have your art. And that stopped him dead in his tracks. And I told him about the bees, and he knew exactly which one I was talking about. And then there was a girl standing in line with me that wasn't with me. And Val, in classic Val fashion, she was dressed as from The Incredibles. The girl who creates all of the costumes. I couldn't remember. Last name begins with an A. Edna, thank you. Mario's always on point. And Edna, she was dressed as Edna. And he grabs her and he looks at me and he goes, I'm taking her with me. There's nothing you can do about it. And I said, Val, take her. She's yours. She's not with me. And he did. He gave her a private signing, like walked her to the front of the line. I could see through the thing, picture taken, signed an autograph for her, sent her on her way, and she went right back and got in line behind me. And I was like, well, that worked out well. She's like, how do you know him? I was like, well, I really don't. I said, but I do now, I guess. She's like, yeah, I would say you do now. Chef's like, that would be Earl the Pearl for me. Ice Wolf's like, I went in for my photo op with him. He was talking to his handler, saw me, the beard, and immediately went into a fighting stance with his hands, like he was going to box. Had to join in. That's how they took the photo. It's 60 style, 30 style boxing, putting up the dukes. A lot of bad things have been said about Val's character and how difficult he is to work with, and the reason he didn't get a lot of work, and he even says it himself in his. So I'm not giving any secrets here. He was labeled as difficult to work with, which cost him a lot of roles. But for everybody that director that says he was difficult to work with, you have about a dozen actors that say they would do anything to act with him again. So take it for what you will. I can only judge a person by my interactions or the people that have interacted with them and told me firsthand. Right, Harrison? I would love to meet Harrison Ford, but I think he'd be so unimpressed that it would just be like him in the like looking at the camera like, why am I taking this photo? Who is this guy? What is on his face? Did he murder Chewbacca and put him on his upper lip? Damn this man for murdering Chewbacca. That's how I feel that would go. The Carrie Elwes story, as you know, I in the past got to do PR bodyguard work for John Travolta, his daughter Ella, and his late wife Kelly Preston. And I was not starstruck by them, even though they're big stars. And Ella is, by the way, Ella Travolta, coming into her own as a very good actress herself. And I grew up, meeting Bills players and Sabres players, and I did security and bodyguard work for any of the D-list celebrities that would come to Buffalo for autographs and garbage like that. So I really don't get starstruck because I get used to it, and I've come to the realization that everyone is just people. Some of them have cooler jobs than I do at the time. And so I had regularly, like, talking to Val was not a big deal for me. It was just kind of like, oh, cool. Like, we were just talking about art and David Bowie. People around us were making a bigger deal out of it than me and him were. We were just two guys chatting about art. Getting to, so I don't know if anybody listens to Christian music or any of the soul music or gospel music. Take Six is one of the largest. I think they're 13-time Grammy winning band. Take Six. One of the, I think the lead singer, he's Claude McKnight. He's actually Brian McKnight's brother. I had to do bodyguard work for Claude McKnight, who is easily one of the most decorated people I've had to do with. Chill dude. We sat down and ate lunch out of a styrofoam container because that's all that craft services had. And he's like, have some food. I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed to. And he's like, have some food. And we just sat on a bench, talked to each other, and ate. So I like those don't bother me. And I'll tell the story briefly again. I had just finished talking to Val Kilmer in line. So that just happened. And I was like, cool. And I'm getting ready to go in to talk to Mr. Elwes, and I'm like thinking of all the things I want to say to him about, you know, how impactful he was on my journey to comedy and how much I adored what he did. And I had his book, so I had him sign his book. And I look at him, and the man's still beautiful, by the way. Carrie still looks great. And he like is very happy to see me. He's, you know, like, hey, and I'm like, he's like, are we doing a photo today? I'm like, no, sir. Could you sign my book? And he's like, and your name? I'm like, David. He's like, all right, David. He signs it, signs a picture for me. Like, does one of these things like, hey, come here. And I was just like, I think you're great. And then I like ran out the room. I left there and was so embarrassed that I got starstruck that I actually took 2 steps out of the place and I stopped and I turned around as the curtain closed and I was like, that was the worst $230 I ever spent in my life. But I did gain a lesson out of that. I truly believe the next time I get an opportunity to meet Carrie, I will not, if I ever get an opportunity to meet Carrie, I don't think I will be as starstruck because now I'll have a really great story about being starstruck to tell him. And he'll probably at least get a kick out of that, which will give us something to talk about. I suppose like the first time I met Robert Jordan, I made myself sick. 30 minutes in front of the line with him before signing. He just stood there looking dumb. Started to feel sick. I could not make eye contact with Carrie. As soon as I saw his beautiful face, I immediately looked at my shoes, which weren't nice. And I was like, I'm not going to get a picture with him because I was 250 pounds at the time and not photo friendly. And yeah, he must have sensed I was uncomfortable. He just asked for my name and sent me on my way. We have our moments. We have our moments. So yeah, that's the only artist I can ever say I've been starstruck by. And I've met more than my fair share. He actually said it's going to take my assistant 30 minutes to get back with a good pen. If you're not going to ask questions, this is going to get really awkward really fast. And he was right, Ice Wolf, wasn't he? Nicolas Cage did make some bad movies, but Pig was the best performance you've seen in a while. I've heard a lot about him. I've heard that Pig was very good. Our own Hellbolt is actually in that film. He has a good story about almost breaking Nicolas Cage's legs. More than mumbled praises. Yeah, that's all I got out was, I think you're great. I must have been looked like such a tool. Like I walked out of there and I literally turned out. There's Hellbolt. I love you, man. Told you, Hellbolt has a good story about nearly breaking his Nick's legs. A wild Hellbolt joins the fray. So Hellbolt, what do you think of Halo Infinite? James is absolutely loving it. I haven't played Halo in about 12 years. I might pick it up and play. It's the only thing about having chat on there. Yeah, Hellbolt was in the scene where I believe they jump him. He was one of the baddies, I think, that beat up Nick Cage. Hellbolt, I have to imagine Nicolas Cage probably smells wonderful. He strikes me as the type of guy that probably wears like the most expensive holistic essential oils that money can buy. Ah, you saved him in Fight Club, in the Fight Club scene. Dig it. It's amazing the people you find in my chat. People who are in major movies, people who are creators and artists. We've got former professional athletes who I'm not going to name names. It's pretty crazy. There you go. Figure it out when you get home. Yeah, James is playing it on normal. I implored him to go on easy, but James will be James. James is one of those people that shoots twice and then reloads. So I have to teach him, hey, buddy, you can let your mag go down a bit because he'll reload and be shot in the middle of reloading. So I got to teach him to spend his cartridge a little bit better. I just noticed something wasn't. Here we go. I need that. Put that right there. eBay 101, thanks for the follow. I just realized when I saw you that the alert box is not on. It's on now. Ah, professional nobody. That's your modus operandi. Yeah, I noticed. I was indisposed. I was actually I was hanging out with Don when I saw the notification of you going on. Let's see if that works. All right, I am going to try to do something here. It's going to make my sound weird, so give me a moment. Now, let me figure out how to do this. No, that's not what I want. There we go. Almost there. No, leave me alone. And here we go. Blah, 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 blah. I'm reading, bear with me. There we go. That's what I need. Need to get my sounds going real quick. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Yeah, that's probably not going to work. Oh well. I'll figure that out at a later date. There you go. That's something I definitely don't have. I don't have a GIF of me in any movie. Dig it. How long how long does makeup take? I imagine some people had more than others. I did a movie for the History Channel. Um, that was a documentary about Prohibition. Unfortunately, they finished filming it. It went in the can, but they never was actually bought and sent up. Well, it was bought but never sent up. Um, my makeup was a grand total of 20 minutes. They just had to knock some shine off of me, and that was it. I was clean, completely clean shaven at the time. I'm non union, so I was not making scale. I was only making a couple $100 a day, but it was fun. Dig it. Yeah, I just, a lot of powder. A lot of powder, and in between every scene, I actually had a 1920s bowler hat. And after every scene, they would take the hat off, and they would the makeup artist. She was from one of the fjords. I want to say she was Norwegian. That's right, right? He goes, "That's your problem, DC. You were in a documentary that wasn't about aliens or Nazis. So unless it's in a pawn store, the History Channel wants nothing to do about it." um, yeah, the so she, I think she was Norwegian. I don't remember on the top of my head. After every single scene, because we were filming outside. It was in August in New York, in the countryside. We were filming in the sun, using natural light, and it was hot. I'm in a three-piece vintage suit and a bowler hat, so I'm sweating. I mean, it's hot. It's summer. Even in New York, it gets hot. It was in the high 80s, which is, if you're wearing a suit, it's freaking hot. So after every scene, because this hat was vintage, every scene the girl would rush over, take the hat off, and be like, "There you go, baby. You're nice and dry now." And then put the hat back on me. And then I anytime I wanted something, like if I was thirsty, would you like a would you like a drink? I would, and they would, and she wouldn't let me use my hands. So I had my sleeves were rolled up. It was a scene where I was actually wading in water, and my hands were wet because we were sitting on rocks in the middle of a stream in New York. It was very low. Maybe it was 2 feet deep, not even 2 feet deep, maybe a foot and a half deep. And had rocks and stumps that were jutting out that we were sitting on. And so like I'm drinking fake beer, and inside the fake beer was soda, like pop. And when I wanted something, like, obviously you couldn't drink it because it was hot and flat sitting in there. So we wanted a drink. They would come over and they would have a straw, and the girl would literally have like the juice box and like give me the juice box like I'm 5 years old, and I would thank you. It was great. I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. It was cool to be pampered a little. That was 2009. It's either 2008 or 2009. "10 seconds of the back of your head on TLC. That's 10 more seconds than I have." I had the opportunity to go to California. My old producer of my show does work. He's an actual LA producer and director. Said he could get me work, but did not have enough confidence in myself, and I do not regret that one bit. I definitely do not think I would have been successful as an actor because I probably would have taken it too seriously, and you can't do it. Um, and I probably would have gotten a lot more trouble in California than I did at home. So it's actually very smart that I turned down the opportunity of a lifetime. 20-0. Indy, I like it. Yeah, sure. Being an extra is actually a bit easier than you think, especially if you're in California. It's a little bit tougher on the East Coast unless you're in New York City. But you can register for sites that have like my both of my brothers were in. One of my brothers actually has more screen time in a major motion picture than I do. My brother Nathan was in the movie Best Man's Holiday. He's in a scene. He's in the front row of the football game, yelling at Tyrese's character. You know what, Brent? For this, it does. Why not? And they actually, on top of using his face, albeit briefly, they used his voice because he screams out, "You suck!" And I know my brother's voice, and they actually used his and elevated his voice out of the group and used that as the taunting thing. And he has a great story about him and one of the actors giving him a brownie because he's like, "I'm hungry," and the actor's like, "Have a brownie." So he tells the story better than I do. But it was funny because he went there with my other brother Matthew, and my other brother Matthew was like, "I'm gonna get on TV. I want to be in a movie. Oh my god, I'm gonna do this." So they were asking for people to volunteer to take their shirt off and paint the team name on their chest. So he's like, "Okay, Nate, bye," and like ditches my brother to try to get this paint thing done so that he can get in the movie. And he's all like strutting around the house afterwards, like they had this camera's right in front of me, yeah. And Nate's like, "Oh, I was just in a group." Um, and the movie comes out, and everybody goes to see it in my family. and there's a close up of my brother Nate, and my brother Matthew is nowhere to be seen in the entire film. And it was hilarious how deflated my brother Nate's like, well, you ditched me and I got on the show. He's like, that's what you get for ditching me. If he would have stayed with Nathan, he would have been next to him and they both would have been in the movie. But he thought he was going to ditch our baby brother and get the guaranteed look. No, Mel, that's exactly what I just finished explaining. He was not. He was there, but they didn't use him. So, yeah, there's that. Yeah, Best Man Holiday was actually filmed in Buffalo. They used the Ralph Wilson Stadium and decked it out as the other team. And they shot it in the middle of summer, so everybody's in winter coats, and it's like 80 degrees outside. Everyone's actually sweating their tail off because they're playing it around Christmas, but they shot it in July. So everybody's in like pea coats and winter hats and gloves. And it's 80 degrees outside. So in between takes, they'd yell cut and everybody would start ripping off their layers to try to cool off. But I digress. In my digression, it is actually, it's just past 10 o'clock. So I'm going to leave you guys. It has been a very long and tiring week. Longest screen time for Hellbolt was in the series finale of The Librarians. It's also the best payday. Nice. I heard a lot about The Librarians. I'm interested in seeing it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So, all right. I cannot promise that I will be live next week for obvious reasons. I cannot promise that I will. If I can find a way to carve out time to be live next week, I will let everybody know on Instagram. So keep your eyes open on Instagram. As of right now, just assume I'm not going to be live next week. But if you see something on Instagram that says I am, go with that. I love each and every one of you. I do. And I thank you for this fantastic week that we've had. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, a joyous Joyeux Noel. I'm going to throw in a Feliz Navidad, Happy Kwanzaa, and a Merry Festivus as well. Whatever you choose to celebrate, I hope that this celebration for you is fantastic and that you get everything that you want because each and every one of you deserve it. And I love each and every one of you. Please take care of yourselves and each other and make this a wonderful holiday season. If I do not see you next week, I shall see you the week following. So take care and... Trying to think of the most non-denominational way to say it. Well, happy holidays. We'll go with that.